it's only right. Welcome to her life. Life with Jack. You should tell a friend, better tune in. Life with Jack. Life with Jack. Life with Jack. Life with Jack. She be on a mission, you don't wanna miss it. Life with Jack. Everybody watching, everybody listening. Life with Jack. 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 Life with Jack.
What's up, everybody? This is Jack, and welcome to another episode of Life with Jack. So today, as you can tell by the title, I'm going to be talking about H Pylori. So this is something that I have been suffering with and dealing with for almost a year, not quite a year, almost a year. But there's a lot of people that are actually dealing with this or having the same type of symptoms that I have and are not really sure what's going on with their body. So I kind of wanted to have an open talking platform to kind of let y'all know, what it's about. So first of all, what is H Pylori? So H Pylori is short for Helicobacter pylori, and basically what it is it's an kind of a infection, kind of what you would call like a stomach infection. It's like bacteria that gets in your body and makes you really, really sick, depending on kind of how your body goes. So there's a lot of people that actually have it and don't know they have it because they really don't have any symptoms. But you can contract it through other people. You can also contract it through contaminated food and water. I also just want to put it out that any information, any tips or anything that I use was personally catered to me. I am not a doctor, so I cannot give you all solicited advice. But if you are concerned after watching this video, you do want to go to the doctor, that is something that I really, really recommend. So I actually started off having symptoms in January of last year, like the very beginning of 2020. So this was like before the pandemic or anything kind of really hit. So my stomach was hurting really bad, and I made an appointment with my doctor, and my doctor was like, I want to get you tested. So I had to drive like 40 minutes to another hospital because the hospital beside me was not doing the specific testing. So I went, got tested, had to drink this stuff for like an hour, and then they did the testing, which was so weird. I don't know if anybody's ever got the testing where they give you something like a needle or something in you. I don't really know the terminology, but either way, it made you feel like you were peeing and you weren't really peeing. Oh, y'all, it was the weirdest thing ever. Like, they would be like, okay, you're gonna feel like you're peeing, but you're not really gonna pee. It's just gonna feel like it. And I'm like, okay. And it's so crazy because the weird thing about me is if you tell me something, I don't freak out immediately. Like, I'm pretty calm during the process, which is like so weird because I feel like people freak out when something is actually happening. I don't freak out until after something is happening. So it has to take the action, and then I'm like, oh my God, like start freaking out and stuff. So I didn't start freaking out until after the fact. I was like, oh my God, like I really felt like I was supposed to pee on myself, but I'm looking out like, no, I didn't pee. It's just how I feel. So I did that. And they were like, okay, you're all good. We're gonna call you. The doctor's gonna call you and let you know what your results are. So my boyfriend went with me because I didn't know if I was gonna be able to drive out there. I don't know. I didn't know what to expect. So we were in the car on the way back. Like I told you, it was a 40-minute drive. So we went back, and then the doctor called me and was like, everything looks good, but you have inflammation in your small intestine. So she basically was like, I want to give you like 2 weeks of antibiotics, and I want to put you on a like very bland diet. So, you know, bread, bananas, and chicken broth. Y'all, I hate chicken broth to this day, because within the time frame, which I'm gonna get to about like me feeling bad, I've drunk chicken broth so much that I hate it. I hate the smell of it. I don't want it in anything. It is just disgusting. Like, I officially hate chicken broth because I had it so much last year. I just hate it. So basically I did that, and I took the medication. I was feeling a little better. And then let's fast forward a couple months. And at this point, like, we're in the pandemic, a lot's happened in my life. I got furloughed. And then I came back to work. It was just drama, right? So when I get back, I had a tragic loss. My very close aunt passed away. And it was suddenly, so it was not expected. So when that happened, I was grieving really bad, and I started to get really sick. So even like right when she passed, maybe like that same week, my sugar dropped like so low. Like my family was like, you should be in a coma because your sugar is like so low. Like my sugar was super low. Like I was shaking, and they had to give me like candy and orange juice. It was like a whole thing. So when I got back, I got a sugar test because I'm like, oh my God, what if, you know, I don't know what's going on. Maybe I have sugar. I don't know if I'm on the spectrum, you know, because I've had family members who are diabetics, and sometimes those things can be hereditary. So I just didn't know. So I went and got tested, and my sugar test, everything was fine. But I was still starting to feel bad. Like, it was so hard to describe. Like, I almost thought people thought I was going crazy because it was hard for me to explain what I was going through. So I would get the cramps in my stomach. That's of course. But I started feeling these other things in my body. So like I would get brain fog. And I'm still, guys, to this day struggling with brain fog. I try to drink a lot of water, but it took me a while to actually record this video because I was dealing with brain fog. Like, I do not wish brain fog on my worst enemy. Like, to me, it's worse than like being in pain, because it's like you're here, but you're not here. It's like the fogginess of your brain. It's just you can't do anything. Like, it's literally like unable to function. Like, when I feel like I have brain fog, I just have to sit and like try to come up with some calming mechanisms, which I'll talk about later. But like, brain fog is legitimately the worst thing ever. Like, I hate dealing with it. I hate when it happens. And it's crazy because it started happening at work, guys. Like, I would be at work and I would be sitting at my desk and I would be like typing, or, you know, looking up files, checking emails, doing whatever I'm doing. And then I would like stare at an email, I kid you not, and my brain would just go, zoo. Like, and people would be talking to me, like my boss would be talking to me, my coworkers, employees would be talking to me, guys, and I could not hear anything they were saying. Like, now I feel like I kind of have it under control, but back then, y'all, it was so bad. Like, people would be talking to me and I could not hear I could not process what they were saying because my brain fog was that bad, y'all. And I just didn't know what was going on. So, and a lot of the times when you're working, you don't really realize how your body is feeling. So I'm a hard worker. So I'm constantly like doing what I got to do, working, moving, you know, making things happen. And I don't realize that my body is actually disturbed. So what would happen is, guys, I would work, you know, whatever shift I was working. I can work anywhere between 8 to 12 hours a day. That's pretty much how my job goes. So I would come home from work and I would instantly start feeling bad. Like, I would walk through the door and I would like, oh my God, I feel like I'm having a heart attack. Like, I would get dizzy. I would get hot. I felt like I was having a heart attack. It, like, instantly, guys, I would get home and I would instantly feel like that. And I would, let my boyfriend know, like, I feel like I gotta go to the hospital. I cannot count on my hands the amount of times I went to the hospital between the months of July and September, guys. So that's August, September. For 2 months, y'all, I was going to the hospital like once or twice a week. I promise y'all, like, I'm not making this up. Like, that's how bad I felt. Like, I literally felt like I was dying every single time. So I would go, to the hospital. They would, like, check my blood, do an EKG, and they'd be like, oh, you're fine. Everything is fine. And I would just always feel like it was like a lump in my throat and just my chest was on fire. And I literally would get the symptom of a heart attack. Y'all, we all do it. I promised myself 2021 I wasn't going to do this if I got symptoms. But this was before I knew what was going on with my body. So I would start having these symptoms and I would get on Google. Y'all, Google, I love Google, but it just messes with your mind. Like, so I get on Google and basically I'm typing all these symptoms and they're like, you're having a heart attack. So I'm like, I'm having a heart attack. I'm having a heart attack. Like, you just go sit here and just let me have a heart attack? Like, we gotta go to the hospital. So my boyfriend will always take me to the hospital. Like, shout out to Bae, because, which I'm gonna get on mental health because it has a lot to do with it. But this man, I know I got on his nerves, y'all, but he took me to the hospital every single time I asked him to. And it was COVID, so he would have to like wait in the car until they called him to like come in. Because we, at that time, like, I don't know what it is now, but you could have like one visitor. So he would come, like, wait in the car, and then they would call him, and then he would like come back or whatever once I got checked into, like, in the back. So I really, really, really appreciate him for going out of his way to make sure that I was good and stopping whatever he was doing. He would be at work and I'll be like, babe, I don't feel good. Like, when you get here, like, I either gotta go to the hospital. And sometimes, y'all, I couldn't make it. Like, I couldn't make it till he got off work. So I would like drive myself to the hospital and he would meet me there. Like, that's how bad it was, y'all. Like, it was horrible. And sometimes I would go in the car and sit in the car and kind of turn on the air, because I always felt like I was having a hot flash, right? Felt like I was having a hot flash. And like I said, Google, I thought I was having a heart attack. But I started going to the hospital so much, I started thinking to myself, like, okay, clearly I'm not dying, and clearly I'm not having a heart attack. So what is happening to my body? So, but I just couldn't stay in the house. Like, I was so anxious, and the jitters and the shakiness was horrible too. Like, I had already checked my sugar, right? So I passed that test. I didn't have sugar. But I would like go to sleep and wake up and my body would be like this, y'all, without seeing it. So you can't physically see me shaking, but I can feel like someone is just scooped me up and just started like shaking me. Like, that's how I felt. But I would like look at my boyfriend, I'd be like, touch me. Am I shaking? Do I feel like I'm shaking? Like, I would feel hot. I'd be like, do I feel hot? And he would be like, no, like, you're not shaking, you don't. But this is how I felt. And I literally felt like, my boyfriend at the time when I was going through this, I was like, I feel like he's the only one that knows, because he's the only one that's seeing me go to the hospital and do all this crazy stuff. I was like, nobody else is going to believe me. I didn't feel like my family was going to believe me. Like, I just felt like the people at my job, like, I was like, no one is going to believe me. They're going to think this girl is losing her mind. She is going crazy. Like, and I even felt bad going to the hospital, because I'm like, oh, they probably like, oh, here come this crazy black girl coming to the hospital again. Ain't nothing wrong with her. She losing her mind. Like, that's how I felt. But I promise y'all, I was like, something is not right with me. Like, I'm not tripping. I've never been this type of person, like, ever. So I was like, something's not right. So I tried to like not go to the hospital as much. So what we would do is, when I would start having these moments, we would go and sit in a car and turn on the car, like wasting gas, y'all, not going nowhere, blasting the air. We blasting the air, and I would just sit in the car with the air blasting until I like got myself together. And so I went to the doctor, like I said, got blood tests. All my blood tests came back good. But I'm like, no. I'm gonna do, see, this is the thing about me, y'all. A lot of people don't like going to the doctor. And I get that. But if you don't feel good, what else are you gonna do? Like, you're just gonna sit at home and not feel good? Like, that's not me. Like, I have to know what is going on with my body. Like, I just can't sit here and be like, oh, my stomach hurt. Oh, if I've never had this happen before. And that's different if you got a stomach ache because you ate something that you know you're not supposed to eat, or you know doesn't sit right with you. But I literally was feeling bad every single day, y'all. Like, it was not a day that I did not feel bad. Like, I literally felt bad every single day. And even after I was diagnosed with H Pylori, I still felt bad. Like, it took me a while to start getting myself together. I would say about November. So think about that, y'all. From July to November, I felt bad every single day. Every single day I felt bad. And it just got to the point where I didn't want to do anything. I didn't want to go anywhere. Yeah, I would get home and I would get in the bed. I would get home and I would get in the bed and I wouldn't go anywhere and I wouldn't do anything. Like, that's how horrible I felt. So I was like, I'm gonna go see a GI specialist, because I remember I was like, light bulb ding, you have inflammation in your intestines. You had that in January. Like, that was the only thing that was concrete that I knew. So I was like, I'm gonna go see a GI specialist. So I go to a GI specialist and we kind of talk. I tell him about my symptoms. He's like, hey, I want to do a procedure. And I'm like, oh, I never had no surgery, nothing, so I'm freaking out, right? I'm freaking out. So he's like, I want to get a colonoscopy and an endoscopy done. So most of y'all know what a colonoscopy is, right? Most of the time, if you're my age, you have parents that are like 50 plus, and they have to have this when they turned 50. So I'm thinking, I'm too young for this. Like, I don't need to get this done, whatever. So I get it done in September 2nd. And so first thing I did immediately once I found out is call my parents, because yeah, I'm 28, guys, but like, I need my parents forever. Like, I'm gonna need my parents forever. Like, that's just how it is. So I called them. I was like, hey, I told them what was going on. I was like, I need y'all to come up here, and take care of me, because that's just what my parents do. They take care of me. So my parents were like, okay, cool, we coming. I mean, they weren't gonna say no anyway, but they said they were coming. So I had to get a COVID test the week before. Test was negative, thank God. And then I had to get my procedure done, so I had to be put to sleep. Y'all, I was such a trooper, but deep down inside, I was so scared, y'all, because I'm like, oh my God, they are literally gonna give me something to knock me out and put me to sleep, and they're gonna do this procedure and I'm gonna be knocked out sleep. So it was like very nervous, and it's during COVID time, so my parents can come out. My mom was like pissed off, y'all. She was so pissed because she thought they were at least gonna have like one person come out there. They would not let my mom come back there, and my mom was pissed off. So when I got back there, I video chatted her, and then I got dressed and stuff, and I had to prep before. So that's one thing, if y'all don't know about a colonoscopy and stuff, like, you have to prep. You have to get your insides cleaned out so they can shine that camera down you, both ways, unfortunately. Whew. And be able to see your insides very clearly. So I had to drink this drink, y'all, and I had to be on only liquids. So, and I'm sorry I keep looking, I'm just checking on my dog. So I had to be on only liquids. So I was drinking only liquids for about a day, 2 days, and no seeds or anything, very bland. I was drinking chicken broth. Disgusting. I hate it so bad. And so when I got that drink, I promise y'all, about 10 minutes in, I was in that bathroom, and I was in that bathroom from the moment I drank the drink till the next morning when I got my procedure done. Like, I kept going to the bathroom. Oh my God, excuse me. Oh, that was nasty. I kept going to the bathroom, y'all. Like, kept going to the bathroom. So I couldn't really sleep that night because I kept getting up, going to the bathroom. Just, y'all, it was just, the stuff was nasty. It cleaned you out. It did its job, for real. It did its job. So, like I said, we got there. My mama couldn't go back, so I video chatted her. And I was talking to her before I went back, and I was like, okay, Mom, they about to roll me back. So we're waving, the lady, and everybody was so nice, y'all. Everybody that was with me was so nice. So the lady was like, we're gonna take good care of her. So they had a little like heart monitor on me, and they was checking my blood pressure and stuff, just making sure I was being monitored. I turned over to the side, y'all. They put this little thing in my mouth because, like I said, they had to put a tube down my throat, too. It was going to both fingers. So I bit the little thing down, and the doctor was like, we're going to take good care of you. And then the next thing I know, they was like, okay, you're done. And I was like, what? What? Y'all. That was so, like... I promise y'all, I ain't never been out that quick. Now, I'm a good sleeper, y'all. Like, when I'm tired and I lay down, I put my head on that bed, I'm out. But that was the quickest sleep ever. Like, they were like, we're going to take good care of you. And next thing you know, they was like, Miss Handsome, it's time to wake up. You okay? Everything went good. Do you want some to drink? I was like, I want some ginger ale. I don't know why. Like, I just always want ginger ale when I'm in the hospital. It's the weirdest thing. But whatever. I was like, I want some ginger ale. So they gave me some ginger ale, and they put me in a wheelchair, and they called my mama, and they pulled up the car, and I went home. So needless to say, everything went good. That was the best sleep I've ever had because I definitely was slobbing when I woke up. But do I want to get put to sleep again? Absolutely not. But it was some good sleep. Hey. So, got my results back, and this is when I found out I had H Pylori. So my doctor was like, we want to put you on antibiotics for 2 weeks, triple therapy. So triple therapy is when you have to take 3 different antibiotics, but it's not just like taking 3 once a day, y'all. It's literally like taking 3 like 3 times a day. I felt like I had to take them like 3 times a day, y'all. So I, got my medicine, started with it. Y'all, imagine being sick the way I was telling y'all I was sick, and then taking the medicine and being way more sick. Like, I already had really bad brain fog, but when I started taking the antibiotics, like, I could not function. Like, I literally felt like I was just on a different planet, guys. I literally felt off, completely off. And so I tried to take it. Y'all, I would go to work and I would not be able to make it all day. Like, I would literally have to leave work because I did not feel good. Or like, I would go on lunch break and I would feel like I was having a heart attack. Like, the medicine was making you feel bad. So I like researched it because I'm like, okay, I'm not the only person that's going through this. Everybody was saying the same thing, y'all. They were like, you gotta keep going. It's gonna get worse before it's get better. And I'm like, I have a high functioning job. Like, I am needed. I just don't sit at a desk and talk on the phone. Like, I'm moving around. I'm communicating. Like, I have a high functioning job. So I cannot take this medicine for 14 days and work and be sick. It's not going to work. It's not going to work. So I reached out to my doctor and I was like, I need to take a medical leave of absence. First of all, y'all, that was the hardest thing I had ever done in my life because, like I said, I'm a hard worker. I'm dedicated. And I was very nervous about asking my job for a leave because I just didn't want them to think less of me, or, I didn't want, different thoughts in their mind. Like, oh, she's not dedicated to this, or she don't want this. Like, I didn't want any of that in people's mind. Luckily enough, like, I have a very, very awesome management team and a lot of people that I look up to that are higher up in the company, and they, respected my decision and were, good with it. So I took a medical leave. And I was out of work for like 3 weeks, I think. Yeah, I was out of work for like 3 weeks. And y'all, I was sick the whole time. The whole time. So it was very much needed because the medication just made me so sick. So I would literally like take the medication, eat basic stuff like Jello, and I couldn't do chicken broth. I tried it, but I just couldn't do it anymore. So I just ate like bland foods and I just laid in the bed like all day. And I actually ended up joining a support group. So I ended up finding this H Pylori support group on Facebook, and I joined it, and it was really, really beneficial. And I'm still in it now because it just helps you to kind of see what everybody else is going through, like what stage. A lot of people are like in the beginning stages where they're taking the medicine, and we're like encouraging them like it's gonna be bad at first, but keep going. And then there are a lot of people who have like tested again, they don't have it anymore. So I'm kind of at that stage. So now I have not got tested yet. My plan is, this is March, so my plan is to get tested this month. I still have episodes, but they are controlled. And I also learned that, guys, that H Pylori was like, even though it was like GI, like you have to realize that your body is all connected. So if one thing is off, it can like make your whole body off. So what I didn't realize is that the infection in my stomach was making me feel bad all over, guys. So I literally, which I really didn't go into talking about, but I literally got everything checked out. Like I got an MRI. I got everything done that possibly could be done. Like I got my brain scanned and everything was good there. The only thing that I had was the H Pylori, but it was just making my body crazy. It was literally driving me insane. So, and I apologize because I wasn't present for a lot of things because I didn't feel good. So it was hard to battle it because I would be around people and I would be feeling off, but I wouldn't say anything because I didn't want to like disturb the peace, basically. But it is a never ending battle because I still deal with it now. But it was also giving me anxiety, guys. Like I literally was suffering with anxiety and depression and I did not know it. I'm an advocate about talking to somebody and getting therapy, because this is something that I ended up doing and I'm still doing. I go to a therapist once a month, and a lot of like mechanisms and different meditations and stuff that my therapist has been teaching me has been very helpful because I do those when I'm not having an anxiety attack or when I'm not going through anything. I kind of do those to help me. But guys, like I am coming a long way because I'm very surprised that I can actually record this and talk to y'all without crying, because when I was going through it, y'all, I literally would scream and cry every day. Like I would tell my boyfriend, like, I hate this. Like, I don't know why I feel this way. Like, why is this happening to me? Like, I'm a good person. Like, I don't bother anybody. Like, these are things that I was playing. Like, why is this happening to me? Why now? Like, why? What did I do to deserve this? Like, that's kind of the things that you go through when you do start feeling bad. And like, I know, sorry guys, I don't discredit anything that anybody is going through. I know people are going through things way worse, but to me, this is the worst thing that I've ever been through thus far, physically feeling bad in my life. And it was just very hard to, cope with that. But I feel like, me going through this is going to be very helpful to somebody else. And I just really am an advocate about figuring out what's going on with your body. Like if you don't feel good or you don't feel right, don't have anybody to convince you that you're okay if you know for a fact that you're not okay. And like if nobody else, believes you, I believe you. Like I am an open book, an open door. Like if anybody that's watching this is feeling bad or feels like they may have what I have, please reach out to me. I will try to give you the best resources that I know. And I'm a safe zone, because I feel like a lot of people, especially when I was going through this, I felt like I really couldn't talk to anybody because I felt like nobody understood or nobody really believed that it was happening because you couldn't physically see it. Like all the pain was inside, all the hurt was inside, and nobody could notice. And I put on a good face, guys. So I'm really good at being happy and pretending like everything's okay. And sometimes it's not okay, but I'm good at doing that. So a lot of people probably were like, oh, I saw Jackie last year and she was fine. Like nothing was wrong with her. But the whole time, like I would be sitting in a room with people and I would be out of it, not feeling good, not feeling great, smiling, trying to do a little smirk here and there, laughing, but I really was having an episode. And I would be texting my boyfriend, like saying, hey, we gotta go home. Like, I feel bad. Like, I'm having an episode. It's happening. It's happening. Like, he was the only person that I could talk to or kind of knew what was going on. So sometimes you need that safe zone. You need somebody that's gonna be there and listen to you and stuff. So main thing this video is about was just kind of letting y'all know, like, if you're not feeling okay, like, do something about it. Figure out what's going on with your body. I'm still in a constant battle, y'all, with trying to be healthy. That's my biggest thing. Like, yeah, I still eat junk food here and there, but I really am trying to increase my water intake and trying to build more healthy habits, because I feel like that will decrease what's going on in here. Because like I said, it still happens, but it just doesn't happen as frequently as it did in the beginning. So I'll definitely keep y'all posted when I find out kind of what my test results are and kind of how I'm going to move forward with this. But thanks, y'all. I know this was a longer video than I normally do, but I just kind of wanted to talk and share my story with you all. And I will catch you in another video. Peace.